Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Sam Tolbert, Sound of Joy, Music Services. How was everyone's day that they're having today, this Saturday? Should have brought my bottle of water down here with me, but I didn't. That's okay. I can get through this. So, if you're looking at the content or the topic of my discussion today, we're going to look at preacher chords in E flat for the keyboard player. First of all, I want to let you know that I'm rocking my new uh, logo attire. These can be purchased on my YouTube page. And if you wanted a special order made, I actually can do that. I didn't open this one up yet. You can watch my unboxing here. This was a special order for a musician. Make sure they got it right this time. Yes. This was a special order, and the product came in. I want to verify that it was all right. It's going to fit correctly. That the material is nice. So an organist is going to have his own specially designed by me here in my studio, and I'll call it a rehearsal shirt. So they'll know who he is, that he's the organist with a picture on the back. This is the new avenue that I am going down in as far as being an actual content creator, not just for YouTube, a musician instructor for you and my friends who are on my YouTube channel, but also creating material content using the wonderful site called Teespring that allows me to upload my designs to them, and then they make it come out. So what we're doing now is preacher chords in E flat. Now, I have shared in the past on my YouTube channel chords, but without an actual voice in the background. So I searched YouTube. I wanted to find a preacher. You always need one of those, so that you can understand how I'm going to talk about for a keyboard player where there may not be an actual organist. How are you to learn the concept of flowing in the spirit with the preacher and not getting so caught up in your own adrenaline trying to outpace him? So we're going to do that right now. Let me just change my. Okay, there's our preacher. Now, E flat is a preacher friendly spot for to do preacher chords. I'm monitoring my page, so if you have any questions, I'll stop and pause just so that I can monitor who's here. Welcome, Jackie, who's here, and Chris Mack. Thanks for stopping in. E flat. E flat is a preacher friendly chord because the preacher has so many. Turn on some more light. So many ranges he could take his voice. As always, never start any practice without scales. Why? Because in the scales, you're going to find your chords, not just the major scale, but the harmonic minor scale. Now, there it is. Because you're going to pick one or two of those scales to place your preacher chords in. Now, just checking to make sure there are no questions. What are, quote unquote, preacher chords, hooping chords, how are they manufactured? It's a straight chord, usually dominated by a bottom bass and an upper register of chords. But now, see, when you're on a piano or keyboard, you're going to have to make use of your sustain pedal in order to fulfill that chord tone you want. I'm on my sustain pedal right there. Now I can go with my chords. As you can see, with the actual sustain pedal held, now I'm in a minor set of chords. There we go. And then come out of it. So let's give you the chords first before we give you the applicational suggested when dealing with a preacher. Have a good sense of where you want your chords to go. Seventh chords. A sense of, do you have this reach so that you can actually maneuver within that range. A good left hand that can work with your right hand. A good coordination between both hands. As you can see, I work on coordination. A good exercise that you can work on coordination. This is what I've always done in E flat. Because your left hand has to be able to be as articulate in movement as your right hand. As if your right hand can do this, your left hand's got to do that also. There we go. Preacher chords. Now in full, here are what I suggest to get you going first. And I'm holding these chords so that you can see the finger placement. See, I got the pinkies free on the end. Little variation. Another variation. Another variation. There we go. That's what I wanted to hear. These are the chords I've used in my days when I was in the Kojic church. Now, as you notice, there's no bass because my left hand is fulfilling the chords on my right hand. If I were on the organ, then my foot would be playing the bass note. So the technique becomes, when you're a keyboard player, you're going to have to omit some of the chords on your left hand and become quicker on your movement. So you got that bob on the bass. Now that movement, and the sequence for doing that kind of a move is you're working with the breath tones in between the person who's preaching. They'll always give out 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7 words and take a gasp of air. That's your time to come in as a musician in support of what the speaker is articulating to the listener. So you sometimes become equal in that sense with the person ministering because they're relying on you so they can catch their breath. And that timing part of it comes difficult. So we've covered some chords. Let me give you some more chords that you can add to what you already have. The drop down. One more time. Okay, make sure I don't have any questions. Welcome, Dwayne, for coming in. So many, and I'm working basically from within this range on my keyboard. I haven't even gone up here, because up here is when you're going to do your runs. From a keyboard standpoint. Take advantage. This is a 76 key keyboard, so I don't have the real bottom on this one, although I can do an octave shift and do that. But you really want to be able to give a preaching voice an actual bottom, as you saw me doing there. I'm going, they need to hear that bottom. You've heard in some of the old gospel albums, yeah, that's where I got that from, the old gospel album, the James Cleveland's albums. But being me, I always want to improvise on it. So while they're doing, I'll adapt. When I was on the keyboard, I was a piano player for the first 9 years as a church musician. So there was an organist. When I was on the keyboard, or the piano, I should say, that's when I developed all of these runs. Just walking down. Haven't done that one in years. Just checking to see who has come in. So let's get our preacher voice there. And now, are you going to use all of those chords I've just shown you? No, I'm giving you a buffet of chords. You pick and choose which ones you want to add to what you're currently doing. So let's bring in our preaching voice and let's see how. Well, I'm in E flat now because I already listen to who I selected, so I know that we're in E flat. So we're not hunting for a key. Let's get him started.
But be of good cheer.
Now you're listening.
For I have
You're still listening.
overcome
Now you
the
find his
world.
key.
Do
Now-
I have a witness here?
Now,
And I really don't know what you're going through this morning. But whatever it is, there is nothing too hard for my God. Ooh, Lord. Yeah. And I'm so glad that I serve a God.
let's stop it right there. So he's giving you the key. Now you know he's in E flat. And he's a hooping preacher, which means he's going to hoop as he's giving this part of his sermon. Usually this is at the 30-minute mark, generally. Between 25 and 30 minutes, a preacher will now get to this tone. He's bringing it in, as they say. So as a musician, I jumped in a bit right there on him just to show you how those... You're finding the tone that may match his voice. Now he has a tenor voice, so he's here. So when he does that, he's going up there in a range that your hooping preachers love to go. That's why I say E flat is a hooping preacher's delight. That and of course D flat, but usually E flat is where everyone wants to rest. So you go up there with him. I want to show this. Remember the minor scale? Make sure I don't have any questions. Just checking to see. Okay. So you can go chord there. You can go chord there also. As you hear him or her warming up, you can, at the bottom. Been a while. So let's key him back. And again, walk it up from when he's getting ready, tune up.
Good cheer.
You're listening.
For I have
You go, okay.
overcome the world.
That's where he started, but he's gonna come up here.
Do I have a witness here? And I really don't know what you're going through this morning. But whatever it is, there is nothing too hard for my God. Ooh, Lord. Yeah. And I'm so glad that I serve a God who has already fought my battle.
Now, what did you just hear?
Do I have a witness here?
What you just heard was an organist who did not want to play in D major. He took him up to E flat. I wanted you guys to catch that. That's why I started up in E flat first, because that's where he's going to wind up. But this is where he came in at. Organists, pianists, please don't be afraid of D major. Because if you can play an F minor, if you can play in F, you can play in D. D is just as easy as playing in the key of F. There's the D minor scale, or the D minor scale, one note difference. giving you a lesson in D. It is not a hard key. Once you understand what you can do in D, so we're going to go back and we're going to see how he was in D, but the organist pushed him up into E flat because that's where the organist wanted to be. That's why I say practicing scales is so important, so that if he went to E, you shouldn't be afraid to go up in E. Yeah, I played in all the keys. Because at the pianist, I didn't have a transpose button. Okay. Go back to our test preacher.
Of good cheer.
Now, he's going to be in D.
For I have overcome the world. Do I have a witness here? And I really don't know what you're going through this morning.
Yes, where he is.
Whatever it is, there is nothing too hard for my God.
Now the organist is...
Yeah. And I'm so glad that I serve a God.
Now he's up in E
who has
flat.
already fought my battle. Do I have a witness here? And down yonder in Alabama where I was born and raised, they taught me a song that simply said, be still, God will fight your battle. Do I have a witness here? Be still, God will fight your battle. If you just be still. Do I have a witness here? And if you don't mind this morning, help me close this message. Put your arm around your neighbor. Touch your neighbor. Come on, hug your neighbor. Don't be afraid. Put your arm around your neighbor and say, neighbor, I don't know what you're going through, but be not dismayed. Whatever betide, God will. Oh, shucks. God will take care of you. Won't he do it today? Is there any...
So, what was I doing? I'm floating around his words. Now, I've never played for this preacher before, so it's not like it's a home preacher where I know how he likes a musician to follow him. So I was just floating around. When he does this, after he's done that, I'll come right after him. If he takes a quick breath, I give him a chance to catch his breath, or her to catch her breath, and go to the next chord. So I could have stayed right there. Come out. B flat. And that run you guys like to do. Little jazz chord. All right. Let's go back a little bit more.
Anybody here know he'll take care of you? Is there anybody here know he'll fight your battle? You already got the victory. But let me tell you one more thing. Don't wait till the battle is over. Shout now. Yes, sir. Ah, yes. Good God Almighty.
Now, when they go up there, you can now go up there. So as long as he's in this range, as long as he's around here, you stay where he is. But when he goes up there, you are now free. B flat. Now, it may seem like I'm flying over the keyboard. I am, because it's real time. When it's real time, and usually if you step on the preacher with your chords, he'll stop you. He'll look at you. He'll give you the fist. Someone give you the fist, or somebody do like that, or somebody do like this. Don't feel offended. I got offended 1 or 2 times, and I learned better. I said, you know what? Let them ask for me rather than they ask me to stop. But then once, sometimes everybody between you and the preacher, you both got adrenaline going on, and both of your adrenalines are working against each other. He wants to preach and you want to play. How do you pull back on that adrenaline? Your eyes, number one. Don't look at your keyboard. Look at the preacher. Look for his body. Look for his or her body language. In a sense, if you see them leaning and bowing, and they walk off, if they're carrying a microphone, as you see he does, and turns to the side and is working the crowd, you might want to call it, then you're supporting. You should have their back. If they're standing flat-footed in their pulpit area or stand, and they're standing flat-footed, then you stand back and let them get to that point where they escalate. Now he's up here. He's not going any higher than that note. For a male preacher who's obviously a tenor, a high tenor, that's screaming range. That's when the organists pull all the drawbars out and give you all that huge squall from an organ player. But from a keyboard and a piano player, you can go but so loud with your instrument before it becomes deafening to you. So you just want to be able to stay with them. Let's see if we can go back and see that build up.
God will take care of you. Won't he do it today? Is there anybody here? No, he'll take care of you.
There he is.
Is there anybody here? No, he'll fight your battle. You already got the victory. But let me tell you one more thing. Don't wait till the battle is over. Shout now. Yes, sir. Yes. Good God Almighty. Is there anybody here ever felt like you wasn't going to make it? Is there anybody here ever felt like throwing in the towel? But just in the nick of time, the Lord stepped in and he made a way. Won't he make a way? I said, won't he make a way? Say it. Say it. Say yes, he will.
So as he traveled down his range, I tried to match where he was so that I'm not pushing him up there. Because do preachers really want to be up here? They've lost all headroom. Sometimes they'll drop down 4 notes so they can have a different landing spot. But I'm actually pacing. Let's see who joined us. I'm pacing where his voice is so that I can match my chords to where he is. So if he's here, that means in this range, I can hang around. But the minute he comes out of that range, once he gets up here, now he's at the top of his vocal range. He's expecting the music to meet him, as they say, at the mountaintop. That's when you can do your There we go. There we go. A lot of things I used to do, a lot of runs I would do whenever I was in E flat, and had a preacher that I could that would allow me to work around them. But for a preacher to go this high, he's got to take that breath of air, which means he's looking for me to keep him up, keep the audience up at that range until he comes down, until he comes back down here again. So his vocal range is in this range. Remember, we did this? Well, okay, I'm going to bring this lesson to a close. I think I've given you a ton of chords, some techniques to use. Yes, sometimes if you're going to be down in D major, if you can push a preacher up to E flat to where you're more comfortable, okay. Me, if he'd have stayed down in D, I can have the same chords. In D as I would have in E flat. But because you can, and the preacher sometimes on his own will automatically go to E flat, because that's, again, is the preacher, quote unquote, the preacher key. Questions? This is like a shed session, so I want to make sure I don't omit anyone that has questions. I am monitoring what's happening, so if there are any questions, you got me on hand. 33 minutes, good. I want to stay within 30 minutes. I think I did pretty good this time. For those that are here, of course, I'm going to bring this to a close right now. But if you have any questions, please post your comments and your questions. Maybe you want to hear it in a different key, some of those same chords. Again, each key has its own fingering, muscle memory fingering, so I may use different chords if I were, say, in B flat or A flat, based upon the tonality, the movement that is available to me. But 70% of the time, the same chords you hear in E flat from me, you'll hear them in any other key, because I practice them in every key just to learn that particular technique. So if there are any questions, please post them. Thanks for letting me intrude on your Saturday afternoon with this quick shed session. Preacher chords for keyboard in the key of E flat. Of course, little plug, this is one of our local shirts, Sound of Joy Music Services. They are available on my YouTube site, and I will be posting this YouTube video, use Facebook Live session on my YouTube site also. I have a lot of viewers over there who are taking instruction from me in becoming the better musician. Thanks for coming in, Dwayne, Jackie. I don't want to miss anybody. Let's see what we got here. And Chris Mack. Thanks for coming in, and look to see you again. Take care. Be blessed.